just put a disclaimer here that I am not a lawyer. I am not giving legal advice here. I am just sharing some tips and things to think about, to look out for, and ways that you can protect yourself as a model in this industry. So just had to put that out there first. What's up, model babes? Welcome back to another Model Key video. Thank you so much for tuning in to this video. Thank you so much for, subscribing to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Key, and I help you new and aspiring models navigate this industry and also learn how to get paid doing so. So if you're interested in that, make sure you are subscribed. I know it's been a while since I popped up on the screen, but anytime I do come back, I give you the good stuff, okay? So make sure you subscribe and you're around for when those videos drop. I wanted to jump out of my hiatus with this video. So there have been accusations lately against Donald Glover by a model named Giannina Oteto. I hope I said that right. It might be something else, but anyway, I'm gonna put her information on the screen so you guys can follow up on the story yourselves. But yes, this model claimed that she was not properly paid by Donald Glover and his team for the use of her image on his album. So his album art cover is her face, and she claims that she is not being paid royalties on the usage of her face. And there has been a back and forth with her and the legal team trying to get in contact with him about it. And after so many years, he's basically out of money and cannot get the money that she is well deserved. So basically, they did the shoot, they used her image as the album cover, but she does not get any monetary compensation afterwards for being a cover and the face of his album art. And she's been upset about this. She's been posting about it, and people have been rallying behind her. And a lot of the comments that I found interesting was that people didn't even realize that you could get royalties from using your image. And so I wanted to dive into that today because this is something that I see a lot of new and aspiring models, especially freelance models who are working for themselves, drop the ball a bit because they're not utilizing their likeness to the full capacity that they can. And I'm going to dive into that today. Okay, so let's break it down. So first, I'm going to speak as if we are a signed model. If you're signed with an agency, when you get those bookings coming through your email, usually when you read through the details, it might include a section about usage. It will explain the usage rights for that job and what the client can do with the images or the video that they're going to be taking of you for that job. So that's something you always want to make sure you look out for when any bookings come through to you. Now, if you're a freelance model, you're doing this by yourself, then you need to make sure that any contracts that come your way or any contracts you send to a client includes a usage clause, right? It really outlines how people can use your image while they have it, while they are using it for their product and their brand. What can they do with it? Having a usage clause is really important when you are working as a freelance model. Okay, now that we have an idea of what usage rights are, let's go over a few questions that you can ask to really start negotiating usage in your contracts. And this is specifically going to be aimed towards freelance models who are going to be negotiating their own contracts. If you're signed with an agency, usually the usage section is outlined inside of your contract. It's in that email that they send you, and you can see all the details. Now, if it's not in there, feel free to reach out to your agency and say, hey, I didn't see anything about usage in my contract for this booking. I didn't see anything about, how they're going to be using the images or videos. Is that something that we can negotiate for? I would really like to know more details about this, how they're going to be using it, etc. Usually the clients of the agency will have it spelled out for you if it's like a full buyout, if they're going to be using the images indefinitely and all that stuff, it's going to be written out in that section. But if you don't see it, feel free to ask them and pose your questions and negotiate for it. I always say that the agencies and the models are partnered together, right? They're working together, so don't be afraid to ask questions. So now, as a freelance model and you're negotiating your own contracts, here's a few questions you want to ask. First question being, what is this going to be used for? So when it comes to usage, you really want to understand how they're going to be using your image, right? Is it going to be on web? Is it going to be on social media and email? Or is it going to be on prints, on the banners, on flyers, etc.? You really want to spell out how they can use your image and what platforms and mediums they can put it out on. If you have a contract that says this is only going to be used on social media, then if they're trying to make t-shirts with your face, that's going to be outside of your contract and you can sue them for that. So you always want to make sure you understand, what your content and what your image is going to be used on, how and what medium it's going to be out there on. And this rolls into my next question for you to ask is, which medium is your likeness going to be used for? Is this photos? Is it video, right? All of that needs to be outlined inside of the contract and in this usage section. Just because you guys may be doing a photo shoot and it has an ample amount of photos doesn't mean that they can start selling a video of all of those photos for, their profit. That's not how this works. You said that you wanted photos. Once you transfer that medium into something else, then that's outside of the scope of our contract and you need to renegotiate something else for compensation for that work that they created and then started selling. So you need to make sure that you understand not only what platforms it's going to be on, but also what medium this content is going to be used for. Okay, my next question for you guys to ask, or section for you guys to include, is how long that this person can use your image. So usage terms is what this is called, right? And this really is where you spell out how long the client can use your image. For example, it might be just a full buyout, which is what a lot of booking jobs are. So they are able to use your image and your likeness forever, for whenever they want, right? But there are some jobs that are outlined, well, this is only going to be for 6 months. This is going to be for a year. This is going to be for 3 years, 10 years, etc. Like you can actually spell out how long they have the right to use your image, your likeness, the content that you guys produce together. And once that time is up, you can also include a section where it states that they can renew, they can come to you to renew, option to renew after the term ends. Just because they get the photos, they get the video, they put it out on these platforms, you talked about all of that, doesn't mean that they have rights to this image, your likeness forever. You can negotiate how long they have the rights to this image or to this video and put that in the contract for you guys so everybody understands, hey, you can do whatever you want underneath the contract of what we've stipulated. You can do whatever you want with my likeness, but after your time is up, after that year hits, you need to ask me again if you would like to use the content that we produce, the image, the video, whatever it is. You need to ask for my permission again to use my likeness, and then we can set up a new contract and a new term of agreement, right? Or, they might just wash their hands and be done with it. But either way, these are the things that you want to ask and really make sure that is included in your contract before you sign and before you do a booking. Especially as a freelance model, it's really important that you have that protection, because you'll get into situations like this model did where, it wasn't outlined in the contract what they're going to be receiving, and therefore they did not get what they were hoping for. I did look into the model a bit and noticed that she is signed with an agency, a big agency. So when it comes to how she got this booking, it most likely was through that agency, and the agency would have negotiated those usage rights. Now, if it wasn't stipulated in her contract that the client has usage rights and she gets compensated for this amount of money for this long, then that is something that's going to be the agency's responsibility, right? Like, this wasn't negotiated properly for this model. So again, on her behalf, she could have asked, if she didn't notice that that was in there, she could have asked her agency about it. But it's also up to the agency to make sure that they are fighting for their models correctly and getting everything that that model is deserving of, right? So these are some things you want to make sure that you are looking out for when you are looking into your own bookings or working with an agency and things of that nature, right? You really want to make sure that you're protected, well-rounded, that you understand this terminology, that you understand how everything goes together, so you can get the most out of the hard work that you do and your likeness and your face. That's what's selling the brands and the products and the album, right? People are infatuated with this album cover and they want it because it looks great and that's her face, but she's not getting paid for it or wasn't properly compensated for it. So just things to think about and make sure that you understand moving forward as a model in this industry. And that's all I have for you today, Model Babes. I hope this was helpful. I hope you got a better understanding of what usage rights are and how you can use them to protect yourself and, get all of what you deserve, like I've been saying. So make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. I know I've been gone for a while, but every time I come back, I'm dropping them gems. So make sure you don't miss it. Don't miss my next upload. And if you guys have any questions, please be sure to leave it down in the comment section so I can answer. All right, loves, I will see you in the next one.